Dear students, in this online class, we are going to learn about changing role of public sector. As you already came to know in the beginning of this chapter about Indian economy. Indian economy is mixture of both public and private. So in this online class, the changing role of public sector. The changing role of public sector can be better understood with the help of the following points. First one, development of infrastructure. In the pre-independence period, basic infrastructure was not developed. So, industrialization progressed at a very slow pace. The process of industrialization cannot be sustained without adequate transportation, communication, banking facility, fuel and energy, and basic and heavy industries. The private sector did not show any initiative to invest in heavy industries or develop it in any manner. Then it was only the government which could mobilize huge capital, coordinate industrial construction, and train technicians and workforce. Rail, road, sea, and air transport was the responsibility of the government, and their expansion has contributed to the pace of industrialization and ensured future economic growth. The second role that is we are observing here, regional balance. So this denotes that the resources must be evenly distributed throughout the India. There should not be any uneven distribution of resources. The government is responsible for developing all regions and states in a balanced way and removing regional disparities. Most of the industrial progress was limited to a few areas like the port towns in the pre-independence period. After 1951, the government laid down in its 5-year plans that particularly attention would be paid to those regions which were lagging behind and public sector industries were deliberately set up. So, public sector units set up established to overcome regional imbalance. That means in every state, in every district, means in every place of India, the resources must be properly distributed. That is what about the second role of changing role of public sector. The third one coming about economies scale, where large scale of industries are required to be set up with a huge capital. The public sector had stepped in to take advantage of economies scale of production. Electronic power plants, natural gas, petroleum, and telephone industries are some examples of the public sector setting up large scale units. Next, check over concentration of economic power. This means the economic power should not be in the hands of few people, especially private sector. So the economic power should not be in monopolistic. So monopolistic means what? Only one seller and more number of buyers. Then what happens? Being a one seller, he is going to dominate in the market. So whatever prices he is fixed, customers they do not have any choice. So customers are ultimately going to face the burden. So the public sector acts as a check over the private sector. In the private sector, there are very few industrial houses which would be willing to invest in heavy industries, with the result that wealth gets concentrated in a few hands and monopolistic practices are encouraged. The public sector is able to set large industries which requires heavy investment, and thus income and benefits that accrue are shared by a large number of employees and workers. So this prevents concentration of wealth and economic power in the hands of private sector. Usually private sector is going to dominating. For that, the government or the public sectors, when they came into existence, we can properly allocate the resource. Next one coming about import substitution. During the second and third 5-year plan, India was aiming to be self-reliant. Obtaining foreign exchange was also a problem, and it was difficult to import heavy machinery required for a strong industrial base. Simultaneously, several public sector companies like STC, State Trading Corporation, and MMTC, that is Minerals and Metals Trading Corporation, have played an important role in expanding exports of the country. Next, government policy towards the public sector since 1991. So, in the year 1991, in our Indian economy is significant year because Indian economy is merged with the world economy, that is in the year 1991. That is technically called as what? LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization. So the government of India had introduced four major reforms in the public sector, that is in the year 1991. These main elements are like restructure and review potentiality visible public sector units. Second one, close down public sector units which cannot be reviewed. Third one, bring down government's equity in all non-strategic public sector units to 26% or lower if necessary. And the fourth one, fully protect the interest of workers. So these are what about changing role of government. Thank you.